is there one thought or maybe one experience that you had that you say, well, I did draw from maybe from earlier experiences from my grandmothers, grandfathers, or
Honestly, it's more of a creative exploration. So it's sort of always changing and fluctuating. It's just about finding a momentum of inspiration that can compel me through a gesture, to make a gesture, or to sing a note as a performer, or sort of like the breeze that I'm imagining a kind of a wind that will carry me in a kind of a reverie through a creative expression.
okay. Is there one? Did the passing of Ohno influence this album? Can you say, or is it?
Yeah, I would say that Kazuo Ohno has been the primary influence in my whole creative output. I think he's probably the single biggest influence in my life, in the way that I think about applying myself creatively, in the style and the content of my work. I think he's probably singly been a constant source of influence and inspiration to me. And in many ways I've modeled my work, you know, in the likeness of his work in some ways, within my own field and with my own experience to guide me. But I think he's my favorite artist, so I feel like he's my teacher in a way.
And does it differ now? He's not around anymore? Or is it for you just his work stands, and if he...
I don't know if it differs. I haven't really spent that much time with him not here, so I don't know how that's different yet.
Maybe it's a strange question, but well, the album is called Swanlights. You sing in the song, you sing well, swans around your neck, and there's also a collaboration on this album with Björk. And Björk is known for having
a swan dress.
A swan dress. Typically, no, so it has nothing to do with that.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
The thing with the Swanlights, my question was it inspired by a dream? Truly inspired by a dream?
Yeah, I guess so. You could say that. It was just a sort of an idea. It just kind of struck me as an idea about the reflection of light in the water, or the spirit in the water. Something that you can see that isn't tangible but has a kind of presence. That was the idea for what Swanlights meant.
And what are swans for you? What sort of animals?
They're kind of really gracious, full of dignity and beauty and sort of a wilderness. They have kind of dangerous or menacing, a lot of elegance. They're just kind of they're very mysterious creatures, you know, they're beautiful.
Well, why did you call the album after this song? Is there an idea behind it, or?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all that stuff, like a sense of wilderness, a sense of wanting to lose myself in the world, in a world of wilderness, sort of renounce my relationship to society in a funny way, and it's just a feeling, it's not a reality, but renounce more my responsibility as a member of a virulent culture, of a culture that's having such a negative impact on the climate and the ecology. You know, as I've been wrestling so much with that idea, there was another part of me that wanted to that was almost exhausted by exhausted by the frustration that I experienced wrestling with these ideas of guilt and innocence in relation to my impact on you know, my part in my part in our story, you know. But there's a part of the record which is sort of about returning almost to wildness, or casting off constructs and there being something beautiful or essential and mysterious that remains, you know.
Can you still connect to it, I mean, in present day society? Or do you have to go to nature physically to connect? Is it?
It was also an idea that I was exploring in relationship to being transgender, and I had this idea that I was developing, that as a transgender person, you're born with a kind of a seed of wildness inside you. It's almost like the will of nature that you manifest, because you're manifesting in the face of a desire, you know, against the wishes of society and of your family and of the community, and even against your own wishes. You're a transgender because nature willed it to be so, and so it's a kind of a wilderness inside you. You got one foot in the family and the constructs of society that you've learned, and then there's a part of you that is, you know, that's coming from somewhere else, you know. That's, so I was imagining that was a kind of a wildness or a wildlife within a person, and that became a kind of a romantic idea for me. And I was thinking that for that reason, perhaps like a transgender person might have greater empathy for the rest of wildlife, or have a kind of connection to the wilderness.